Now that you have this agreement, what does it free Coinbase up to do?
Good morning, Sonali. Today is a big day, not just for Coinbase, but for crypto and for the United States. With this case in our rearview mirror, Coinbase is going to be in a much stronger position to not only push for permanent legislation that we think will provide clarity to the markets, but also to double down, maybe even triple down on innovation in our own products and services that we think are going to serve our customers very, very well.
It's interesting to see you had this initial excitement around the agreement when it comes to your stock performance. You're actually now seeing your stock at the moment down on the day. Was a lot of this baked in? One question I have for you is what this means for investors in Coinbase. Presumably, you've been spending a lot of money on legal fees. How much have you been spending through the course of this fight? And what does it free you up to now spend on instead?
Well, the last four years of the Gary Gensler regime and his war on crypto have been nothing short of a disaster for American crypto writ large. In Coinbase's case, we've had to spend over $50 million just on outside law firms and other advisors alone. That doesn't even include the cost internally. That doesn't even include the tax on innovation that Gary Gensler's misguided campaign imposed. So with all of that now lifted, we're able to focus on the future. As I said, I think legislation in the Congress on market structure and stablecoins is going to be critically important. And then, of course, there's the whole point of legislation as well as rulemaking at the SEC, which is to bring new listings to our platform, to develop new products and services that provide a real alternative in terms of financial services, and ultimately to provide a foundation for innovations that go well beyond speculation, investing, and financial services that we think are going to be tremendously important to the U.S. economy.
One question is what this means in terms of unlocking new products, in terms of unlocking token listings. There has been a lot of dispute around what is allowed in terms of bringing to market on the Coinbase exchange. Do you think that this could unlock a further wave of listings?
Well, I think that we are going to see an acceleration in listings on the platform going forward. Our approach to listings has actually remained remarkably consistent over many years, which is to look at the state of the law, to understand where the courts are, and frankly, to understand where the courts are likely to go if and when issues are brought before them. But I think that with this resolution, we can consign to the ash heap of history the SEC's misguided view that somehow every digital asset other than perhaps Bitcoin was a security. That was the view of the SEC during the Gary Gensler regime, and that view has now been firmly rejected by the new leadership in charge.
What does this mean in terms of the types of investments you're going to make in the future? You mentioned $50 million over a span of years when it came to legal costs, hiring outside lawyers. Does that $50 million translate to $50 million in the future to new engineers and other talent at Coinbase?
Well, I think actually it translates to an even bigger investment going forward in software development, in technology, in basic science to support the advancement of cryptocurrency and crypto and digital assets more generally all over the world. The Gensler regime may have been great for lawyers like me, but it's been an absolute disaster for innovation in the United States. Fortunately, with the new leadership at the SEC turning the page, we think we're going to be able to look forward and focus much more on building and much less on litigating.
Paul, you mentioned rulemaking being a critical part of the push moving forward. How soon do you expect more rules that would clarify a lot of uncertainties in the crypto industry, particularly when it comes to registrations with the SEC, when it comes to listings and otherwise?
Well, Coinbase has been focused on regulatory clarity and especially rulemaking for years. It's one of the reasons why even as we were defending ourselves against this bogus, meritless case by the SEC, we actually sued the SEC ourselves to get rules for crypto in place. I'm very confident that with Acting Chair Ueda and Commissioner Peirce's leadership and the announcement recently of a crypto task force at the SEC, we're going to see rules that will allow companies like Coinbase, but also many others, to come in and register, to be allowed to list crypto asset securities transactions appropriately on our platform, and then move past this phase, an era where these decisions were made in courtrooms rather than as part of a deliberative process between industry, regulators, and other stakeholders.